Hello guys and welcome to Front Row Racing. We're in Baku, it's round 8, should be one hell of an event. Just a quick update for you, the World Championship did take place last night. It was an eventful event. Myself and GT5 King, who's with me in the comms box, participated in that event, and it was a bit of a mix, so hopefully we'll get something similar. But as I said, it's GT5 King joining me in the comms box this evening. How are you, fella?
Hello, good evening, Dave, and not too bad, mate. Uh, yeah, not too bad.
Not too bad. Well, hopefully they have better weather than we're having over here in the old snow. So,
Yeah, well, it's not too bad where I am, but apparently it's going to get a bit worse, but fingers crossed they'll survive through it.
oh yes. Well, what I'll do for the viewers right now is I'll go through the driving standings as they are and the constructors' standings, and then we'll send these drivers over to the track duty. So, in first in the World Series currently, we have Conzo in the Ferrari on 119 points, followed up in second by Will One Win One for Red Bull on 81. Then in third was SBL Malikekic, but he will be replaced shortly on 65. Moving on to fourth is Calzo in the second Ferrari on 62. Then we have myself, but that will be updated, so I'll move on to that. Followed up with Stocky in sixth on 37. In seventh we have Hindle on 36 for Mercedes. Followed up in eighth, Valdemar for Toro Rosso on 33. Then we have Gonk in ninth for Williams on 27. Farfper brings up 10th for Haas on 23. Then we have Millstar in 11th on 22, followed up by Slimbo Dude in 12th on 12. Well, we've got a bit of a tie here for 12th, because joint is Alimentine for Renault and Danny Railton. All three drivers are on 12 points. Followed up by a gentleman that will be replaced, Maznap, so we'll move on from him. Tied 15th is the admin's pick rookie Cardo, and that seat is filled by RDB tonight. Then we have Fletcher Boy, joint 15th, Shimi Garcia, joint 15th, and it would have been Ant, but I believe he has vacated his seat. And they are all on 6 points? Yeah, 6 points, sorry. Moving on to the constructors. In first, we have Bin Men Ferrari on 181. They have a 51 point gap back down to Blue Bulls Red Bull on 130. Third is the Toro Rosso on 116 points. Fourth is Haas on 75. Fifth is the Mercedes on 49. Sixth is Williams on 39. Seventh is the McLaren on 34. And then we have Force India on 28 points in 8th, followed up by the Renault on 14 points in 9th, with the admin's pick rookie car on 6 points so far. So that is the standings as they are. We are just about to send these guys around the track of Baku. It is round 8, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're going to do now is myself and GT5 King will spectate up so these guys know to head over to the track. GT5 King, given the events that happened last night, are you hoping for the same for these guys?
Yeah, I'm hoping for hopefully a little bit of a cleaner race. Last night I have heard that some of the drivers did either crash themselves out or did crash into some people, like me, unfortunately. But yeah, um, I know last night as well it was raining and qualifying and dry in the race. Rain here, you need to be very careful, particularly in the second sector, but. Let's hope it's nice and dry for these boys so we can have nice clean racing and hopefully be nice and fast as well.
Oh yes, indeed. I don't know about yourself, but it wasn't just raining; it was hammering down yesterday. It was
Yeah,
very
definitely it
tricky.
was. Definitely was hammering down. It was getting dry as the session ended, but yeah, still wasn't dry enough to be a little bit extra quick around this track. Still had to be quite whilst the word had to be quite cautious, as I said, particularly in sector 2, where very bumpy, very twisty, particularly in the castle section, where you can probably see on screen here. Very tempting to go quite full throttle, but yeah, the car kind of spit you out.
Oh, it can indeed. And if you slightly misjudge your braking down into the start of the castle section, you could be paying some severe consequences. But Yeah, it should be an interesting race. I mean, we got, I believe it's 16 on grid tonight, so a few new faces, the likes of Rai Kimi and Nightwalker, joining us, new permanent drivers. As I said, with RDB in the admin's pick rookie. So we'll see how these guys get on shortly. Qualifying coming up, 12-minute session for you guys to view, see who can get pole. Um, who's your money on? I reckon we may see a brother on brother fight here. Maybe Hindle having a good result bar the altercations with the stewards. I reckon we might see a Calzo Conzo fight today. It looks dry, but we don't know the weather. What's your thoughts on the take for the battle at the front end, GT5 King?
Well, I've heard. Unfortunately, I've not been following much of the action in the WS that much. But from what I've heard, I have heard that it's been quite close, particularly as you said, um, between the two brothers of Conzo and Calzo. So I'm hoping for the same here. But I've heard some other drivers are starting to catch up, or if they're not, then they're already there with them, and which is what we like to see, nice close battles. But yeah, I'm hoping for nice close battles throughout the grid tonight.
Yeah, we hope to see a few, but I must admit, with the Ferraris, as I went through the standings, I believe it was a 51 points lead they've got in the constructors, so they're looking very comfortable. If they're going to start fighting now, then it might be wise to do it now before they start throwing it away at the end of the season. So worth keeping an eye on the Ferraris. Hindle's a driver worth keeping an eye on. We do have three new faces with us this evening. Permanent seats. They are Nightwalker 2004. Fletcher Boy 77 may have had his seat last week but couldn't race, but is with us this week. Interesting driver, and a guy called Rai Kimi. So three new faces that who knows, may even mix it up at the sharp ends, given what's going on. But yeah, just to clear up, ladies and gentlemen, we can't see the weather. We don't have a third person in comms with us this evening. So we are blind to what's going on. From the view I'm getting following Stocky, it looks rather overcast. So may see some light rain in qualifying or the race, who knows. But we shall see what happens as everything progresses. Let's see who's the furthest one up the track. Do you know at all, GT5 King? Is it Danny Railton, the furthest gentleman up the track?
I'm just checking right now. I think so. Yeah, it looks like Danny Vilton is going out of, well, going back, just about to go into um, the straight-ish part of the track.
It's the fastest part of the track, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, let's just say I think that's the word for it.
Yeah, it's one hell of a long piece of straight, but that fast chicane he's just come through as he's just about to start his lap, that is very, very treacherous in the wet, I must admit. That is not as flat as you think. But anyway, there you got Danny Railton, heavy braking zone coming down into turn 1. Nicely hits his apex, runs slightly right, kissing the exit curb. Got a yellow flag in front of us, car down the runoff area, doesn't move, Hindle himself nicely stays out of the way. So Danny Railton, second DRS zone, flying down. A few long straights here, ladies and gentlemen, but it can make for very, very entertaining overtakes. So looking for the 110 metre mark. Nicely done, rides the curb just before entry, probably didn't help him through turn 3 there. But as we come through turn 4, lines are looking good, nice stable lag. It looks like every driver though is currently on the super soft compound bar Nightwalker on his outlap. Bit of a twisty section, looking quite nice for a stable banker coming up. His sector 1 time now is a 46 dead. Ooh, rear getting away a little bit there. Coming into the castle section though, very, very crucial part of the lap. Pushing the barriers a little bit nicely, a bit tentative into the right hander there, coming through the left, plant the power, and here we go. It is nothing but horsepower, low drag sector now coming up. So skim the apex, let it run out, just brush this one, heavy braking zone just as the curb ends, coming down into second gear, early on the power, just as he comes off the apex then, nicely done. Sector 2, what have we done? It is a 1:18.5. He will get provisional pole, but this is just all about getting a good exit out of the left-hander there and just planting the throttle and hoping you're carrying the line with least resistance to carry as much speed as possible. But it's about now. GT5 King's probably got the kettle on because he's got enough time to do so as Danny Railton comes up to the finishing line. We're on a 140, 41, 42, 43.7 for Danny Railton. That is provisional pole, but I expect that to be beaten, and it has by Rai Kimi, a 141.8. Who are you following, GT?
I was following Dan Railton. No, in fact, I am following Fletcher Boy. He's just coming into the fastest part of the track now. So one was a 45.5 sector 2. Wasn't sure what that would be in the total lap with Simbo, sorry. Takes the pole position right now. And it looks like it might be close between him and Fletcher Boy. Fletcher Boy is on the final straight now, accelerating towards the finishing line. What is this time going to be? It's going to be pretty close. And as a 141.6, ooh, only 3/10 slower. And it does seem to me that the clouds are starting to come over a little bit. The track certainly is a little bit darker than it was at the start of the session.
I would have to agree with you there. It's a good lap there. I'm just running on board with Valdemar as you finish that lap with Fletcher Boy. Just seeing if some of these drivers are going for a 2-lap run, because as you've said, it's getting rather grey, slightly darker, and this might be their only port of call to put a good lap time in.
But Nightwalker is just, well, he just finished his lap. He actually qualified on the softs, so 143.6. Which isn't too bad on the softs actually. It's around about the soft, well, the softs are around about between 1 second, 1.5 seconds slower than the super softs. There's not much this track being, well, that, no, just ignore what I said there. Just ignore that.
No worries. Anyway, while you were yappering there, I was looking for a driver quickly to jump on board with. We've got Hindle coming up down the fastest part of the track, coming up to the pit straight, and he's looking quite handy. I saw he did a 116.9 through the sector 2. He's backed completely off. Okay, this has got interesting. Unsure what drivers are doing there, maybe just seeing what he can and can't do, given the fact we've got 5 minutes to go. It would seem all drivers at the moment are either on a cooldown or in the pits. So, interesting. Just wondering, GT5 King, before we come on the broadcast on air, did you think about the question of the day, if you fancied putting that one out?
Well, the question of the day I had, well, I thought of on the spot, I felt like was kind of a good one. And it would mean everyone would have had to look at the current testing. Looking at big testing, but unfortunately it required a lot of maths for me to do in like 10 minutes. Even though I'm studying engineering at university, I'm not that great in maths, so I've not thought of a question of the day at the moment. Maybe if something comes into my mind, then I might spread it out there, but for now, nothing at the moment.
Okay, no worries. I was just wondering if you fancied doing the maths or not, because I didn't fancy testing my brains either. But yeah, we got Gon Contract just coming up to line. He's just set a 143.3 and put himself into 8th place on the super soft tyres. It seems like every driver, but is it Danny Railton? Maybe on a.
He's on a slowdown lap. I think it's an end lap for him.
Looking that way. We got Gonk still going, so I'll stay on board with Gonk, see if he improves as we go. But yeah, it looks like every driver is warming up or getting ready for that one last push. But as Gonk comes round to turn 4, as he's lining up turns 5 and 6, we'll shortly see what his first sector time, if he's improved up or if he is down. Taking a lot of curve there. Fair play to him. I wasn't doing that, that's for sure. Wasn't brave enough.
I've just noticed something, sorry. Conzo, Calzo, Forthba, Hindle and RDB haven't set a lap yet. In fact, I say that, well, Forthba is just coming out of the pits now. But yeah, those other 4 haven't set a lap yet, and they are getting, ooh, and his Forthba already breaks his front wing, half his front wing gone already on his out lap. And he has, I don't know if he'll have enough time to get back into the pits to set at least 1 lap, because it's 3.5 minutes to go. It's 1 minute 40 lap out on average around here, and yeah, he is struggling a lot, and I don't think he'll have a chance to get a lap in, which is a shame for him. Hindle is out as well. Hopefully this will be 1 flying lap for him. But the two brothers, Konzo and Calzo, are still in the pits, so I'm not entirely sure what they're doing.
Well, maybe putting a lot of pressure on themselves there, but we stayed on board with Gonk as he comes up. He's improved by 7 tenths there, nearly 8 tenths, so he's put himself up into 6th place, and that's probably qualifying over for Gonk there, doing 2 flying laps. But yeah, you're right, bringing up about Konzo Calzo still in the pits. They may be looking to go from the back. I wouldn't say that's a recommendable good idea around Baku, but you never know, there's plenty of walls. But Hindle and others down there putting a lot of pressure to get it right with only 2 minutes 30 seconds to go.
So I've got a theory, because pretty much everyone, apart from, well, yeah, everyone is on the super softs. I've got a feeling it might rain in the race, because I would have expected some drivers at least to qualify on the softs for an alternate strategy. What do you think?
You could be right there. I mean, from yesterday, it's a shame we didn't get to view it because I feel we had the same sort of situation. I mean, we've got a few drivers up the front. New guys, Fletcher Boy, Raikimi, but you never know what they're delivering. Then we got Valdemar, a few drivers out of place. Konzo is just coming out on the super soft, so with the wet weather, theory may be wrong, but who knows. But it'd be interesting. We don't know. It could rain towards the end of the race, and yeah, spice things up. And these drivers, it could be strategy setups. It could be a number of things given the circumstances of Formula One. So I'm just excited to see what's going on because we've got a queue of drivers, and I'm currently on board with Will One Win One. To sidetrack off the conversation there, he is on a fast lap. Slimbo Dude may have held him up a little bit there. We'll see what he does through sector 2. Not very sporting driving there. It's put Will One Win One off his line, as he would say. But here we go, coming up to sector 2. Just a flat out section. Apart from this tricky braking zone, it catches you out if you go in too deep. Quite tidy, losing the rear end on the exit there a little bit. See if it compromises his time. He is currently it's a 46.1 for the sector time itself, which I believe is quite quick up there. Might be looking at a 5th, 6th area. See how he does with his low drag, depending on what he's running. Coming up before the DRS zone, we're in 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. May have a low drag setup on his car here. Coming up to line 40, 41, 42. It is a 42.8. Puts himself up into 8th place there. So, anyone else on a hot lap GT5 King?
I'm following Konzo. In fact, Calzo's the only person still in the pits. He's not set a lap yet. Konzo's on the softs, going to turn 1. Nice little, nice corner that was. Got his braking spot on. Into turn 2 now. Braking just before the curb on the outside. That's another one. Another good lap. One thing to point out on this track is that you do not want to touch the curbs whatsoever. And his Hindle puts a 140.9. Very good lap. 4 tenths faster than Slimbo did. And as we follow Konzo into turn 4, still, yeah, these curbs, as I mentioned, do not want to touch them at all. The only curb that you can get away with is turn 1 and 2 corners after, the corner approaching now where Konzo is going to go. Apart from that, don't touch them whatsoever. Going into this corner where Nico Hulkenberg binned it in the 2017 race in real F1, into the castle section now. It's very tempting to get quite a lot of curb there into the castle section, but he's nailed that perfectly. Onto, it pretty much is, well, very nearly full throttle from here on in. Flat left, 2 lefts, double lefts, braking again just after the curb. Very tricky braking zone, that one, but he's nailed it perfectly. Looks like a good lap for him on the softs, going round kind of turn 17, I think. Now his full throttle here on in, as you mentioned, line of least resistance is Raikimi. I think he probably crashed himself out there. And yeah, Konzo's full throttle now. Will he get as close as possible to Slimbo's new lap 140.8 on the super softs? I don't think he will, but what's going to be, it's a 141.8.
Yeah, interesting. Great little lap there. Kept that with everything spot on there. Just want to give you a quick update of the order, guys. Everything's swapped and swapped. Slimbo took pole. Well, provisional. No, currently is pole. Hindle snuck up there. He's half a tenth behind Slimbo Dude. So Mercedes looking very, very strong here. Then Stocky snuck in front of Fletcher Boy, and he's 1.5 tenths off Slimbo Dude's time. So we will get the official positions pop up, we'll go through the order. But that was quite an exciting qualifying session there, GT5 King, and from first to eighth is not even a second separating the grid.
Yeah, quite exciting. I think it's probably more excited than it was last night because of the rain. But yeah, I think particularly the top three only separated by a couple of tenths, so it's going to be quite an interesting start to the race. Being because of the turn one being the shortest run into turn one of any track in the calendar. So hopefully it won't put off too many drivers. Hopefully they know that turn one isn't as far away as they think. It's actually right next to them. But yeah, we're just going to wait till the game puts us into the timing screen.
We are indeed, but you're right there. It is one of the shortest and can catch anybody out. It nearly caught me out trying to go around the outside of 10th here yesterday. So yeah, before you know it, you can find yourself in a bottleneck, and you've got to remember that outside wall of turn one. It sneaks back into the track, so it'll be interesting to see how these drivers all cope. And there's a few more cars on grid this evening, so we'll see how these guys go. GT, would you like to go through the grid as it stands?
Yep, so Slimber did pole position, well done to him, 140.8. Hindle only, well, it's, yeah, in second place. Stocky in third. Fourth is Fletcher Boy. Fifth is Valdemar. Sixth is Raikkonen. Seventh is Conzo. Eighth is Wilbon Win1. Ninth is Danny Vilton. 10th is Gonk. And 11th is Nightwalker and Conzo and Farthba haven't set a lap as well as RDB.
Ooh, I'm interested to see what Calzo's strategy call is here, because this could be eventful. I mean, Baku turn one, I don't want to be down the back end of the grid, but fair play to him. We'll see how he gets on. So yeah, the grid seems a bit mixed up from what we're used to, and we'll see how all these drivers get on. There's a couple of new drivers mixing up in the top 10, so looking forward to this one, GT. We'll see how these drivers get on shortly. Quickly, before the drivers get going, what would you be looking at strategy-wise? One stop, two stop, super soft, medium, super soft, softs?
Well, I did go, because if I'm honest, I did damage my front wing last night, so I did have to go into the mediums quite early on. But I didn't really like the mediums that well. I actually had to pit again, but yeah. You gonna do the start?
Yeah, here we go, 5 lights, and they are out. Ooh, a bit of a quick start there by, who's that? Stocky there, he's up to second, but the two Mercedes get down to turn one. Everything Ferrari's gone flying. Maybe GT could update us what's going on at the back, but we've got the Stocky down the inside of Slimbo Dude. So Stocky's made an absolutely fantastic start from third to first, and everything is kicking off down at the back there. We're just stay on board with the front leaders to see how they got on coming up to turn 3, but Stocky's made an absolute brilliant start, and Slimbo Dude's in front of Hindle, so we'll see how the team progress with Fletcher Boy, one of our new drivers, currently in 4th, with Bry Kimmy, another one of our new drivers.
There's a crash. Danny Vilton, and I think it's Danny Vilton had a bit of a crash. He broke out his front wing. By the way, Valdemar crashed out in the first corner, so I'm not entirely sure what happened to him. But yeah, a bit of toxic turbulence, and also Will 1 have a bit of wing damage. You have to be very careful, especially this track with wing damage. Don't want to risk it whatsoever. As we see, that was RDB having a look at Farthba into the castle section. That is one thing you definitely do not want to do. It is a guaranteed 100% crash if you go for an overtake into the castle section. But yeah, as you say, Stocky out of nowhere is leading the race.
Yeah, it was an absolute phenomenal start. He was attacking, I believe it was Hindle around the outside of turn 1, and then coming up to turn 2. We didn't quite get a good angle because of the trees, and I was distracted by the carnage in the background. But then before you know it, he's up the inside of Hindle up to turn 2. Yeah, sorry. So absolutely fantastic start, and he's looking like making a little bit of a break for it, as I'm just sticking on board with the guys up at front. Question to you though, GT, did you actually see what happened to Conzo at all? Because he's lost a couple of positions there around RDB.
Next his front wing quite substantially. He is going into the pits as well as his teammates. His teammate has also got damage. There's quite a few drivers who should be going into the pits. Yep, so Conzo will win. Oh, 4 drivers into the pits with wing damage. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Conzo. I did see him go very slowly into turn 2. He was right on the apex in turn 2. I'm sure he was trying to avoid drivers, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but I think he may have got involved with Valdemar's collision, so you'll see later on, we'll happen to him.
Oh yes, we will indeed. I've just flicked back, just caught the likes of RDB going into battle, the admin pick rookie, with Farfba, down into turn 3. He went for the move and backed out of it last second, but it's two drivers that used to be teammates that know each other quite well, so it might be a feisty battle going on here. But back up at the front, Slimbo Dude seems to be hanging on to Stocky quite well, only 7 tenths, with Hindle 7 tenths behind Slimbo Dude, with Fletcher Boy only 9 tenths behind him, and then we've got Ryan Kimmy only 6 tenths behind him. So the top 5 must be covered by about 3.5, 4 seconds here, if I'm not mistaken, and it's looking like a fantastic battle might be brewing up here. But I just want to point out the Mercedes of Slimbo Dude and Hindle are currently 2nd and 3rd, with the Ferraris having a disastrous start to the Baku race. This could be crucial for the constructors' battle as the season progresses. So
Yeah, I just want to point out also, sorry, Fletcher Boy and Farfba have wing damage. So I'm not entirely sure when they sustained that damage, but yeah, it looks like Farfba's definitely lost a lot of time from his teammate by Kimmy in the fastest part of the track, and he looks like he's not pitting. He is still staying out, so it's a bit of a risky one. As I mentioned at the start, you don't really want to, you have to be very careful. As you can see, RGB is catching up to him quite a little bit, well, quite a bit actually. Yeah.
no, that's good stuff there. I've just set up our telemetry properly, and just to correct myself, the top 5 are only separated by 2.9 seconds, so looking like a very entertaining race here. But a bit boring at the moment. They're a bit of a train, but now DRS is activated. It comes into effect as they come down to the long pit straight, as is. Slimbo Dude, if he can hold within 3 tenths of Stocky may be a sitting duck, and Hindle at present has just dropped out of his teammates DRS, so we may have 2 little battles going on here down the pit straight in about 30 seconds time. But currently, to run through the order while we wait for this to kick off, we have Stocky leading, Slimbo Dude 2nd, Hindle 3rd, Fletcher Boy 4th, Rai Kimmy 5th. The top 5 are separated by 3.2 seconds. Great stuff here. Farfbro in 6th, RDB 7th, Nightwalker is 8th, Gonk is 9th, Calzo down in 10th. I have to see a mighty recovery drive from there. Will One Win One, another one of our pit stoppers, is in 11th. Danny Railton 12th, and Calzo is 13th, with Valdemar out of this event. So we've got 2 groups at the moment. I'm currently on board with Slimbo Dude, who looking like he may be able to attack Stocky, and Hindle, Fletcher Boy and Rai Kimmy in the background. Might be a bit of a battle going on there. So it's all going to kick off down into turn 1 here, folks, so bear with us. DRS is now activated. Stocky go with defensive early. Stocky's in the pits. Why is Stocky in the pits? If GT5 King is, if you could just have a quick look, see if he's got wing damage or something.
No, I didn't see anything doing damage on him. I'm not. Is this? I'm not entirely sure if he's pitting in his garage. I think it might. Yeah, yeah, it's a drive through penalty. So his amazing start was because of a jump start.
Wow, that is very, very unfortunate for Stocky there, but it did look like off the start the lights flicked and it looked like the Red Bull went bang on time, but obviously I was wrong there. It looked like a lightning start, but now we know why. Now this has put Mercedes in a 1-2 position. So Slimbo Dude is 2.3 seconds ahead of Hindle and doesn't look like to be slowing down to give his teammate the right of way. So good to see. It looks like we have a team that are willing to fight on track. But just behind them we've got Rai Kimmy and Fletcher Boy. Rai Kimmy did get the move done down into turn 1 with Fletcher Boy. We did say it was close, but with Stocky going into the pits, we got a bit whip as Rai Kimmy gets absolutely millimetres away from the left-hander on the exit of the entry point of the castle there. His accuracy is at his best there, but now we've got Fletcher Boy coming round to the pit straight. It might be a bit of a topsy-turvy swap. Here we go, because Rai Kimmy hasn't been able to pull away. But other than that, while these guys head up for the long back straight, is there anything else that's caught your eye, GT5 King, or are you here with me watching these two battle?
Just a quick look, and looks like we're quite separated in the back. Farfba did pit. He's on the super soft, so I'm assuming that he'll be pitting again at some point later on in the race for a set of softs.
Okay, good stuff there. Well, we've got Rai Kimmy, Fletcher Boy. Rai Kimmy's got a lot of straight line speed. Fletcher Boy now, as they come down into the braking zones, getting just close enough, but not close enough to make an attempt of an overtake. So he will get a second dab at it as they come out of the exit of turn 2. What has he got? This is great stuff to see, might I add. This is two of our new boys, Fletcher Boy and Roy Kimmy, in third and fourth, giving us a good show here. So great stuff from the drivers that are of old and the ones that are coming in. No incidents that we really know of, so might be a bit busy with what happened in turn 1, but we'll see how that goes. But up at the front, Slimbo Dude seems to be just pulling away from Hindle 10th by 10th, but currently the gap is 2.6. Roy Kimmy and Fletcher Boy holding on within the 5.5 second area to the leader. Other than that, there is a big drop off then to RDB, who looks like he's in a world of his own. 6 seconds behind this battle up at the front, and 6 seconds ahead of Gonk, who seems to have a couple of cars behind him for close company, so might be worth keeping an eye on there, because one of them is Stocky on the recovery.
Yeah, Stocky overtook Nightwalker on the second DRS in turn 2 and 3, and he is definitely eyeing up a little bit of a battle with Gonk as they both go into the cut section. By the way, Nightwalker has wing damage. He lost, I think he's lost all his winglets, so he's only got the main part of his front wing left on the softs. But I'm surprised he'll be pitting this lap. And look at that, he's having so much understeer. It's unbelievable. You have to be so careful. But luckily for him, he is nearing the end of the lap anyway, so we're surprised he doesn't.
Oh, it's all gone a bit pear-shaped for some of the drivers here in Baku, but yep, Slimbo Dude now really stretching his legs in that Mercedes. He's just set the fastest lap of the race, and the gap is now 3.3 seconds as we got Stocky before the DRS zone pulling out alongside Gonk. Looks like he's got the move done before DRS, so got some serious straight line speed there. Stocky is Gonk looking like to tuck into the slipstream. Is he going to throw one up the inside? Doesn't look like it. Everything's hold station, so we'll see what Stocky's got in return with his defensive skills, because Gonk will now have the DRS, and see how these guys go. Stocky locking up there into turn 2, really excuse me, trying to get the most out of it in the braking zone so Gonk doesn't get the attempt of an overtake down into turn 3. Not looking like it, so it looks like Stocky's got the position of 6th, and looks like he may look to stretch his legs now. Just hunting down RDB, who's about 5.5 seconds in front of him. Back up at the front, anything changed? No, everything seems the same. So it's a bit of a interesting race with some of our drivers. Stocky on the recovery. Any news on Conzo or Calzo, GT5 King? Both Ferraris on the recovery drive, of course.
Yep, both Ferrari drivers are on the medium. Sector 1, let's try to see what happens with the yellow flags there. I'm not really sure what happens with that, but yeah, it looks like, I think, both, Conzo's the only Ferrari in the points, beat 8. I think he is actually catching up to Gonk, who is 19 seconds ahead of him on the medium. So we'll see what happens with. No, in fact, sorry, Conzo's actually on the super soft, but telling me that he's on the medium, which I'm not entirely sure why he's saying that. So sorry about that. But yeah, it looks like Conzo's trying a big chunk out of Gonk. Fletcher Boy looks to be quite close to Raikkonen for the battle for third place. Right behind him, DRS helped him there a lot, and it looks like Fletcher Boy might get the move done on him, on Raikkonen, and the second DRS zone as Gonk passes RDB. Oh.
Okay, good stuff there. Fair play, GT5 King. Yeah, just noticed Conzo on my screen, just to clear up that information, is listed as on the mediums. I believe it's the list on the left hand side you go off, that's the correct one, so I believe he is on the medium tyres. You were correct first time round. But yeah, this battle up at the front for third and fourth does look a bit interesting, with the two new boys of Roy Kimmy in third in the Haas and Fletcher Boy 77 in the Renault. They're putting on a fantastic show and really trying to stomp their authority as the new guys in the World Series at front row, so doing a great job. Interesting to see that Fletcher Boy for the past 3-4 laps has had the DRS but hasn't been able to get an attempt of an overtake really on Roy Kimmy, so could be down to his fuel strategy. It could just generally down to be drag, that Roy Kimmy has the better drag on his car that's reduced. But the field as it goes, no one's been lapped, but there is a big gap as they separate. It's a bit of the top 4 in their own little battle. Then you've got the fifth place of Stocky with Gonk about 4 seconds behind him, and then there's another big gap back to Konzo on the mediums, followed up by Will One, Win One, Danny Railton, RDB, Calzo, who's on the mediums himself, along with his brother's teammate. Interesting to see how the two Ferraris progress up through the field again. And then we've got Nightwalker in 12th on the mediums and Farfber in 13th on the soft tyres. So interesting to see how these guys' races panned out with the gap so big, only on lap 8 as we're going. But yeah, interesting as we go. It's nice to see a bit of a tight battle, a bit like yesterday up at the front. Mixtures throughout, because I noticed in the World Championship event it was a bit of the same, wasn't it, GT5 King? It's just little incidents happen, you're stuck in a group, you can't go nowhere.
Pretty much, yeah. Particularly in this track, it's not very easy to overtake. As Nightwalker crashes out, I'm not entirely sure where he crashed out. I think that is it's at the end of sector 2, out of the castle section, which is unfortunate for him. So he's out of the race. But yeah, I think from what I remember last night, the battle up front wasn't necessarily that close until the last few laps. Where I got lapped by the leaders, and this year that was quite a close battle with them. But yeah, I think I'm hoping I won't be bored from now until the end of the race. Hopefully there will be close battles here and there. The closest battle from what I can see is Danny Railton and I hate that name so much. Will One Win One. They are just going into sector 2 now, in sector 2, sorry. And Danny Railton on the softs or super softs, and Will One, I'll just say, is on the softs. So they go into the castle section. I think it's a chance for Danny Railton to overtake Will One in the fast project, the sector 3.
It is indeed. I've noticed with Will One Win One, I don't know if it's line, but he's just allowed Danny Railton a line up the inside of him as they come down to the two left-hander apexes that are flat out. I think Will One Win One's backed out of that sensibly. Could have ended disastrous for him, but you get the DRS now to come back and attack. But yeah, nice little battle down here. It shows that the lower points are crucial at all times here at Front Row Racing because of how the points apply towards the end of the season with drivers and their car choice, etc. But we got Will One with will he be able to attack Danny Railton back down into turn 1? It looks like he's got a little less drag and the slipstream is kicking in, and we are flying now already up to 205 miles an hour. DRS, is it a simple one? It looks like it. Yep, Danny Railton tucked back in. Got no answer for that. I'm not a big fan of the DRS down here with the long slipstream. I wish they would have just kept the second one.
Sorry, I just saw Williams run wide. There was Danny Railton, and yeah, he ran wide. He's lost a bit of his front wing. Oh, and he's hit the wall into turn 2. Luckily, he hasn't lost too much of his front wing again. But I'm not entirely sure what happened to him there. He must have ran deep into turn 1. Must have clipped the little cheeky wall on the outside of turn 1. And he must have had some damage as a result of that. And yeah, you're struggling a lot now. I'm assuming he hasn't pitted yet with his super softs. I think round about now is when they do start to jump off the cliff, as we say. So I think probably this lap would be a good time to pit.
It would indeed. I've just noticed about from Danny Railton. Will One Win One, RDB, Stocky, all having a little squabble now. I wonder if Will One Win One is trying to play the team game here, get Stocky in front of the admin's pick rookie, which is RDB, sitting in the car there this evening. Playing a bit of the team game. It's the closest battle we have on track, so we'll see how these guys go. I've just noticed though, GT5 King, Fletcher Boy is the first to pit out of the front runners, so it'd be interesting to keep an eye on him on the next lap or two to see how his progresses. Might get an undercut there because he was quite close to Roy Kimmy.
RDB going into the inside of Stocky, into whatever corner that is, heading down the hill now. So close. They did have a bit of contact, but Stocky, who passed RDB out of the castle section, he is now up to 7th place, and I think our strategy worked quite well. Will One Win One. I got that right finally. Is ahead still, quite a big gap between him and Stocky, his teammate. But RDB, I think he does have the DRS. We've seen the telemetry, but he does. But Stocky has the DRS as well. All about aero here. But yeah, looks like it's not that close yet. But Stocky is getting close to his teammate. Or to his teammate, sorry. And I think it might be a bit of a close battle yet again between these three. But RDB took a bit too much care up there, as I mentioned earlier. and it spun his car a little bit and slid his car, and he's lost all that time. And yeah, he has to do all that working yet again.
Yeah, it's interesting little battle there, so it's interesting to go. I've got an update for you, GT. We've missed it. Konzo is in 5th on the mediums, probably going to the end. He's only half a second
Right.
behind Fletcher Boy. So this is
Yeah,
just
very close. Yeah. So on your screen you see Konzo on the mediums.
correct, and I've got him listed down
All
the
right.
telemetry on the left as on the mediums as well.
Because he's listed as the mediums, but he's actually on the super softs on my screen.
Oh, lovely. Cloakmaster is giving you a bit of a glitch
But the
there.
funny thing is, he's the only driver that I can see that is like that. So I'm not entirely sure what Konzo has done to my game. But yeah.
You never know. But, I don't know if you want to jump on board with Rai Kimi. Slimbo Dude and Rai Kimi have just pitted. I'm on the battle with Konzo and Fletcher Boy. They are coming down the pit straight now. Well, Fletcher Boy's pulled a little bit away from Konzo. Expected that given the tyre wear of Konzo's been on him for about 9-10 laps now. But yeah, Fletcher Boy coming down. I can see Rai Kimi's at the exit. This is going to be pretty tight, but Rai Kimi's on the medium, so an interesting call there. But here we go. On the exit, it looks like Rai Kimi's just got it done. Pulls his car in front of him. Yes, he has. But now Fletcher Boy's got DRS. This could get very, very interesting. Medium cold tyres versus warmed up soft tyres. Undercut didn't work, but he's looking like he's got a line here. Easily at the inside there. Rai Kimi not even bothering to defend. Nope, lets him go. A bit tight there on the exit.
So close.
But good bit of racing there between the two new boys that have come along to front of racing. Interesting call there from Rai Kimi going on to the medium compounds though. I thought he may have gone softs.
Yeah, but I did see him in the pits, and he had to change his front wing as well, which is why he was so close to Fletcher Boys. He went out the pits. Carlso says the fastest lap of the race, 43.7, whereas Carlso is currently 10th place right now. I'm not entirely sure whatever strategy Carlso had, or whatever reason he had for not qualifying. I don't think that worked because of the contact which he had at the start of the race. I think that completely destroyed his strategy that he had planned. So he just has to a little bit of damage limitation. Or he has nothing to lose right now. Well, he does have something to lose because there are two drivers behind him. But yeah, I think the only battle I can see right now is between Raikkonen and Konzo. Both are on the mediums, but Raikkonen has got the advantage of being on your mediums than Konzo. So we just need to see what happens between these two. As Hindle pits, or as out of the pits.
Oh, is he out the pits yet? Because these three are coming down the pit straight now.
Yep, these are the pits.
Oh, that was very, very close. Good judgment there. But we got Fletcher Boy who would be looking to chase him down, and Konzo on the older mediums definitely has less drag than Rai Kimi. Rai Kimi getting a bit closer to the wall there. This could be an interesting battle to the end with the current reigning World Series champion. So Rai Kimi probably hasn't got a clue who he is and just going to get on and give it everything. So fair play to him. But Konzo looking, cheeky little look, no, pulls back in and forgets about that one. Then oh, Rai Kimi may have got some damage there. Not from what I can see. We've got Konzo going around the outside there. Lovely little move there, picking up the pieces by Konzo there. Now he's up into 4th. So at the moment, this is a fantastic recovery drive from Konzo as Farfba's just retired and Konzo's just hit the wall. Definite wing damage there. That is visible, losing some gubbits on the left-hand side. So what could have been a fantastic recovery drive may have just hindered him and may slowly go backwards. But we'll see how that progresses. Hopefully it doesn't affect him as we have lost Farfba. So interesting that drivers on the mediums are finding it a bit tricky to get their nose in and out of corners at the moment. So
yeah, I did see after Farfba he lost it going out of well, start the 63, the left-hander before the last 3 corners, so he lost it there, and I think he just must have had enough, and yeah, he unfortunately left the session. Whereas following Raikkonen, don't think he's that close enough to Konzo to at least be close enough to him. He might be for a move in the second DRS zone. But it's not so bad for Konzo actually. Well, he can stay out for at least 2 laps. That's what I did last. I was basically in the same situation as him last night. As Raikkonen breaks later than Konzo. It was a little bit deep, but he has gained some time. But yeah, I had some wing damage on the same lap as Conzo actually, funnily enough, and I decided to stay out for at least a couple more laps on the mediums, and then pitted for the super soft to the end. So it's not game over. I think there's still time for Conzo to pit and not be too badly affected by it. Um, but it looks like Raikkonen definitely taking advantage of a full front wing as we know of, and your mediums that we do know of. So yeah, it looks like Raikkonen is, I think, probably in this lap, as they go, maybe when they go into the start-finish straight, Raikkonen might have a chance to overtake Konzo.
That's very, very true there. Just to talking about front wings yesterday, lap 2 for myself. Left hand side of the front wing went medium wing damage. Right side, sorry. But then 2 laps after that, when I pitted and changed my tyres on lap 10, I knocked the other side. So bit of a problem there. One thing I did notice though, I had medium wing damage on the right side, but only minor on the left. However, when it was on the left, I didn't feel a thing. Maybe because of how the corners work around the track, but when it was on the right, it was horrendous, especially through this fast right-handers trying to line someone up for an overtake. So Raikkonen really should try and make the most of this with Konzo in this predicament at the moment, but both drivers are on the same compound, so be interesting to see how they go. Just noticed though, GT5 King on the listing, a little battle for the last points paying position may kick off shortly between Danny Railton and RDB. RDB's been closing it down. It was 2 seconds, now it's down to about a second and a half, so interesting to see how those two go, given it's only the last points, but every point counts in front of racing. And we've got Raikkonen right on the back of Konzo at the moment. Didn't want a boring race. I don't think we've got one at the moment really, but is he gonna bombard one down there? No, thinks better of it. Raikkonen very, very tempting.
Oh, Konzo has run right. He's got more wing damage from what I see. Yep, he's lost quite a bit of front wing, and as a result of that, Raikkonen has passed him. So that must have been his front wing damage that he had already must have affected him there. As a result of that, it's quite an easy corner, that turn 3, to mess up, especially if you don't have the racing line on. Very tricky to find your braking zone, and every time you brake at the braking zone, sometimes you don't slow down as much as you want, which is quite strange, particularly in that corner, which is probably the reason why it catches so many people out, as we've also seen last night in the World Championship race.
That's very, very true there. Whoa! Konzo, sorry, I'm on board with him. He's just gone through a double left-hander, and the first one, the car did not want to go flat out through there, so surely Konzo's got to come in, set of soft compounds, maybe actually a set of super soft if he's got some spare, and just absolutely gun it to the end now. But we'll see what he does as we come down this. He's having to lift through the left, the right, he was able to keep it. That's not good. If he doesn't come in, I think he's going to be easy meat for the drivers behind, and there's a couple there that can catch him. But yeah, we're coming in the pits now. So where will Konzo drop back to? I've just noticed Calzo is 20 seconds behind him, so he may come out around his brother. He's gone to the super softs though.
But also Konzo has to race his front wing, but Calzo just going down the final corner now, turn 20, off this track, and as Konzo is just about to go out of the pit lane, I think he might just stay ahead of Calzo. He's on the super soft, so he did what I did last night, pretty much, and it'll be to the end on these super softs, so it's advantage Konzo right now. He's got the gap ahead of Calzo, and he's going to try and push that as much as he can. I'm not entirely sure if he will catch up to Will One Win One, who is 10 seconds ahead of him, but Konzo's on your tires and on the fastest tires, so might not be game over for him. Maybe P6 might still be there for him.
Yeah, it could be interesting as we go. It's it's been quite interesting for the teams and the constructors, because looking at how the standings stand within the race at the moment, you've got Mercedes currently first and second, and yes, second is Hindle. Slimbo dude is, I think he's putting a stamp down in Mercedes here, saying if I can win, I'm taking the victory. But then we've got the two new boys of Fletchboy and Raikkonen driving for separate teams. Fifth and sixth though is Stocky in fifth, Will One Win One in sixth. currently separated by about 12 seconds. They are Conzo's targets on the super softs compared to their softs. But then followed up 7th and 8th, you've got the two Ferraris. So the Ferraris have had a pretty good recovery drive given the circumstances, and I believe they both pitted twice at the moment, so they're doing well. And then followed up in 9th, we've got Danny Railton, 10th RDB, and 11th Gonk. But as I said, for the teams, you've got Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari all stealing points at the moment, so not looking good for the drivers lower down the grid at the moment, because the Ferraris have pulled off a pretty good recovery drive, bar Conzo's little slip up there when he decided to hit the wall a couple of times. So it'll be interesting. This is currently the closest battle we have on track, as Wim1 is now pitted. I believe that's his second stop as well, GT, so I don't know if he's got wing damage or something.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either. I can check for you. Where are we? Yeah, so that's his second stop, so he probably did have a incident somewhere on that lap. And I'm just following Stocky. Actually, he's been very close to the walls in the castle section. Very tempting to do so, but it's also very tempting to completely mess it up. So, and I'm actually quite surprised I've not seen anyone do that yet, which is good. I think I've seen one person do it last night. So, but yeah, looks like RDB and Danny Vilton, the closest battle on track at the moment, for the battle for P9. Both the driver will actually, RDB is on the softs, Dan Vilton on the medium, so you would think that RDB would have the advantage. He's very close to Danny Vilton. Looks like he had good traction out of the corner before. Into the castle section we go. And looks like RDB took a bit cautiously into it, and he ran very deep, and that would have lost him a lot of time, and it has, against Danny Vilton, and is flat out through here, where the softs don't really gain you much time. It's only in the slow corners where the softer tires have picked up the most time, as we can see there, but his traction out the corner wasn't that great. Into turn 16, I believe it is. And he has run deep yet again, pushing the tires to the limit, and it has cost him a lot because Danny Vilton has just gone away. And from what I can see, no wait, never mind. I think RTB is on the rich mix fuel, sorry, and looks like with lower aero, he has managed to close up the gap to Danny Vilton a lot. But Danny Vilton defending quite aggressively there, but fair play to him. And he's defending yet again into turn 2, moved back into the racing line, and it looks like RDB has an easy job now. It's past Danny Vilton, but Danny Vilton's gone right to the inside on the second DRS zone, making it very difficult for RDB to go past him. Notice that Danny Vilton, oh, but RDB is still going on. Then the outside, Danny Vilton, oh, he's just gone into the wall. Damaged front wing as a result of that, but he has gone past Danny Vilton. But it looks like Danny Vilton is not having any of it, going quite a bit aggressively on the curbs. And I've just noticed that I've been talking for quite a long time.
No, you carry on doing. You're doing a cracking job there. Don't stop. You're on a roll. But no, what I would like to point out there was earlier on, just before you jumped on board with him, RDP actually picked up wing damage on the other side, coming out the exit of turn 2. So now I think the damage is evened up from what I'm seeing. So his handling shouldn't be too bad. But this is a cracking little battle between RDB and Danny Railton, and this is for 9th and 10th, and these are the closest two on track. So we will stick with them, but the guy on the move, just a little bit of an update for you, would seem to be Stocky on Raikkonen. The gap is coming down. It is currently 3.2 seconds. Konzo's just gone and posted the fastest lap, which would be expected. But yeah, GT round 2. RDB's in front this time. What's Danny Railton got?
I'm not entirely sure, but RDB has the advantage, as we've seen, off very good aero. From what I can see in the telemetry, Danny Vilton hasn't got as much fuel as RDB. RDB has pretty much 2 laps of fuel left, or 2 laps extra fuel. Danny Vilton only has half a lap, so he doesn't have much fuel to play with in terms of going aggressively on the amount of fuel that he uses. And I think RDB, although he does have wing damage, but as on the softer tires, looks like he is starting to put a gap on Danny Vilton. So I think RDB might risk it. Well, in fact, he has to if he wants to stay in the points. And I think at least just stay out until the end of the race by just trying to be as cautious as possible, try not to be too aggressive into the corners. Um, Although he is on the soft tires, and Danny Vilton cutting the corner a lot there. What is he doing? Um, and into the castle section we go, and he runs deep there. And RDB runs a little bit wide. Going out of the castle section, Danny Vilton has managed to catch up a little bit. But yeah, I think it might be down to at some point in the closing stages of the race as Danny Vilton breaks a little bit later than RDB and is caught up a little bit. Goes for wide entry. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you carry on, mate. This is very, very eventful, but I've just noticed this is probably Danny Railton's best chance because it's the closest he's been, so we will get to see what RDB's arrow is in a straight line. But here we go. It's round 3.
Pretty much, yeah. We just see going into the left-right that RDB was struggling because of his wing damage, but look at that. Even with DRS, Danny Vilton has got nothing to challenge RDB. He's only in the corners where he's got the chance. As we can see there, he's caught up a lot on RDB. He's right behind him. He's got good traction, but look at that. RDB is on rich fuel. He's got enough fuel to do so. Danny Vilton doesn't. And yeah, I think it's going to be so close. Danny Vilton has to do something quite special at some point in the last 5 laps of the race. Or we're about to go into the last 5 laps of the race. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a close one, don't you think?
It is indeed, and this is great stuff to see. I mean, I like battles, I love seeing them, but it's just for 9th and 10th, and this is fantastic to see, so every point counts. Just a little battle that seems to be brewing that might kick off towards the end of the race as long as both drivers keep going the way they're going, but Stocky is slowly eating in to Rai Kimi. He did have it down to 2 seconds a minute ago, well, a second ago actually, and now it's just popped back up by 8 tenths, so maybe a slight mistake by Stocky there, but we'll see how that gap progresses. Already coming down a tenth, but yeah, these two, fantastic stuff. But RDB has got some fantastic straight line speed there. He's a little mistake coming out of the left-hander there. This may allow Danny Railton to get closer, but it just does. You can have a tow rope, he still won't get past. But
yeah,
it's just ridiculous what RDB's got there. But he's used his brain. He's got enough downforce to get through the twisty sections of sector 2 and deal with sector 1 flat out, and no one can touch him. Because if I was seeing this, I'd be angry in Danny Railton's position. DRS probably got his engine enriched if he can, and he can't touch the RDB as he pulls away, so that's annoying. I'm just noticing in the background though, Gonk is just got the gap down to what's that, 6 seconds I believe, so might be one to watch out for, because I believe he is on fresher soft compounds, making 2 stops compared to these two, so could be interesting as these closing stages appear around Baku, because we've got Stocky on the move. If he can close that gap back into Rai Kimi, that now is looking about 2.6, so he is on the move again. The 3 at the front seems set unless something really, really serious happens, and that's Slimbo Dude in first, Hindle second, and Fletcher Boy third. So that seems set in stone. It's just these little battles throughout, but the Ferraris, although Konzo's on the super softs, progress good, he's only 4.3 seconds ahead of Calzo, who seems to be matching him on the soft compounds now. But the Ferrari's now in 6th and 7th as RDB makes a little mistake there. These two, this is going all the way to the line. So
oh dear, what's Stocky done? What's he in the pit? So he has front wing damage, and we just see him there on the screen. He had a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so I think that's P4 gone for him now, or definitely has been gone for him now. Whereas Calzo, in fact he's lost P5 now. Konzo has now passed him, whereas Calzo is, in fact both of them have passed Stocky, so Stocky has messed up somewhere and he's now down into P7, and Rai Kimi has got P4. I think the top 5 are pretty much neutralised now, unless something big happens. But yeah, what happened to Stocky there, I have no idea.
no clue. That's interesting. But the Red Bulls, both of them, now 7th and 8th, were actually ahead of the Ferraris before this little pit stop window. So it's all twists and turns here in Baku. The Ferrari are now 5th and 6th and enjoying one hell of a recovery drive given the situation at the start. So fair play. Just jumped on board with Danny Railton, who's had a bit of a wayward turns 1 and 2, in too deep into turn 1 and a bit of a mistake through 2. Just dropped off, but we might get to see the difference in the aero now. Danny Railton a bit of clean air behind RDB through sector 2. He's locking up a bit now. I think these medium tyres may have had it. I don't know when he put them on, but RDB getting away. But you can see through the twisty section of sector 2 of Baku, he's holding the gap, if not closing it down. Taking his time now.
Oh, hang on a second. Oh, he ghosted there. I'm not entirely sure what that was about.
Ooh, interesting. I did notice that. I thought it was just me. Thank God it went. But no, it's interesting. You can see now he's closing in, and then RDB goes, see you later. Right on board with him. It's so annoying. All that work into a setup for sector 2. RDB comes along with probably 1 or 2 clicks lower error, goes, see you later in sector 3 and 1. So.
Ooh, Danny Railton took so much curb there. Not entirely sure if that was legal, but that's not our call to make. It's all up to the drivers to report whoever they want. But I think what I would do if I was Danny Railton is, in the castle section in particular, go into lean fuel. You're not using much fuel in that section anyway. And keep it in standard and at least try and do Rich on the main strip, which he is doing right now. But I don't think it's possible for him now to claim P9.
I think you might be right there, but you never know. The drivers give it their all till the checkers flag, and fair play to these two. I've enjoyed watching this. Little bit of an update for you though, GT5 King. Stocky pitted, as we know. Super soft compound he went on to. Calzo's in 6th on the soft. Stocky is only 2.6 seconds behind him. So this twists and turns with only 3.5 laps to go get very, very interesting. So don't keep your eyes off the driving at the moment.
I just actually see Danny Railton has caught up a lot on RDB. RDB must have made a mistake somewhere on the curb there, which has slowed him down. But with the softs, he managed to make it up with good traction. But Danny Railton getting so close to RDB now, and yeah, looks like it's going to be hopefully another round of good battles between them. So close behind RDB. Does he get good traction? Yes, he does. But I think RDB's superior aero will start to kick in now. Yeah, he started to pull away from Danny Railton as Stocky sets the fastest lap, and in fact, as we mentioned, that Stocky is now under a second behind Calzo, so it looks like it might not be game over for him now. P6 might still be possible. I'll follow Calzo if you want.
You can do. I've literally just jumped on board with him as you said that though, because Stocky, this is 4th position, so we're stick here because it seems Danny Railton may be a bit stuck at the moment. We will jump back if anything looks like it kick off, but no, this looks like it could be the battle. Red Bull looking like to make a charge now. They need to for the constructors with 2 Ferraris in front of him. So Konzo in 5th, about 4 seconds up the road. His super softs are used and abused though. Stocky on completely fresh rubber with Calzo in front of him at the moment, looking to attack any chance he gets. So this might be interesting with drag reduction, because I noticed when they were going down the pit straight, Stocky was reeling them in attempt 4-2 down there. So Stocky may be lining this move up down there, and if he can, closing Calzo's brother up, Konzo, who's about 4 seconds up the road, might be a step too far, but Stocky will take anything he can get at the moment with his teammate down in 8th. Red Bull looking like they need to make a bit of a charge and a recovery drive for the rest of the season to get any kind of position at the end. But Stocky coming around the left-hander now, exiting for the longest pit straight I've seen in my life, with a couple of kinks in it. Looks like this should be easy meat as they come through down the last right hand kink. Stocky in the slipstream. Calzo looks like he's got some pretty damn good straight line speed there, holding on, and all Stocky can do is match him. Starting a little bit of lag there maybe from Calzo up in front. Stocky not able to do it down the long stretch. Can he get the traction down and get it done out of turn 2 up to 3? We shall see shortly. On the exit, looks good and tidy yeah, as GT said, very tight, very twisty, and very, very close. But here we go, stock. That traction Calzo's got on the soft compound though, it's like the first phase isn't there, the second phase it just shoots the Ferrari. Or Stocky might be running just a little touch too much. Oh my god! Now that's late on the brakes for you guys. Stocky giving it everything here. I think Stocky knows he's got to get past him before the twisty section starts a few corners before, so Stocky's got to get something done, because if he gets past him towards the end of the lap, it looks like Calzo just come flying back past him in the superior Ferrari with lower drag. But I've noticed they are, because of this battle, starting to catch up Conzo. So unless Conzo's saving fuel, this could get interesting right to the very end. A little bit of an update for the RDB and Danny Railton battle. It's opened up to 9/10 now. Oh yeah, still just dropped a little bit, but yeah, the gap is opened up, so it looks like the battle might be done there, but we will see how that goes around the final lap and the closing stages. But here goes Stocky again, giving it everything, attacking the curves, not stopping, and Calzo's up in front, wondering what's going on, when's the move coming. So we will see if Stocky can get it down into turn one. We saw from the lap before, it looks like Stocky can only match him unless he's got his engine turned up now, but again, it just match him, maybe crawling back, but it's not enough, as Stocky is topped out at 2:08. I do not know what Calzo's doing, but this is where he needs to get it done. Needs to get close, needs to get this right and get the power down earlier than Calzo. We'll see what happens this time around. No moments, and he's very, very close to him. Is he going to throw one up the inside? Is he feeling brave enough? Starting to get it back as we come towards the end. Calzo knows. Stocky, is he going to go? Thinks about it, but does not. Calzo a little bit wide, thought Stocky was coming, just misses the apex there. Stocky getting very, very feisty behind the Ferrari driver here, but as you can see, the car up ahead is Conzo, Calzo's teammate, with this battle going on here, looking quite comfortable. But this is lap 25, anything can happen around Baku. One little push too hard, you skim a wall and it can put you in a bit of a situation. Stocky is hungry, he is not stopping as these two drive around for the last lap and a bit, or lap and a half should I say. Very, very close on the exit of the castle there. Stocky looking to get him everywhere he can. Are you watching the same battle I have, GT? Because this is epic.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. Both drivers on the edge. Stocky must be hitting every break point sweetly to be able to stay that close.
So close.
Here we go. What's Stocky got? I don't think you want to do it here, Stocky, because he will come back at you very close on the apex there. Driver's just given enough room, but Stocky is as close as he has ever been coming down as the leaders, excuse me, have started the final lap. These two flying up. Stocky's chance is now. He's got to give it everything to the car. It's got to be a late move down into turn one, inside or outside. We'll find out in a few seconds now, folks, but this is good stuff. Calzo's taking the in now, pulling out to the out. Stocky's left the door. The door's there. Stocky's gone for it. Is it too late? Is he on the brake? Sweet. He's as close. This is great stuff between these drivers. Now Calzo got the switch back, coming back up. What's Stocky going to do? Very, very late. Oh, lovely stuff there. These drivers are on the absolute limit. Fantastic driving. Now what's going to happen? Stocky's got to get done now, or I would say it's game over. He's gone to the outside. What's he going to do? Try and go round or switch back? He's going as late round the outside. He's hit the wall.
Oh no.
Oh, Stocky doing everything right apart from that bit, but that was absolutely superb driving there. Stocky had to go for it. He had to try something. It was all or nothing, or he'd get seventh. So yeah, fair play to him. RDB Danny Railton, how's that battle? It's now a couple of temps.
Yeah, I just want to also mention some board across line there, but won the race, well done to him. But yeah, Danny Railton did actually get past RDB. RDB made a mistake going out of the castle section, but with the superior straight line speed which RDB has, that we know, RDB managed to make that very easily, going on the start finish straight. But yeah, this is the closest battle right now. Danny Railton's so close to the back of RDB. Danny Railton has some front wing damage now, so pretty much equal in terms of pace a little bit. But it's going to be such a challenge. He has to think of something so special, or he has to pray that RDB makes just the tiniest mistakes, which Danny Railton actually made a little bit there, running or sliding a little bit. But so close gearbox to front wing distance. Danny Wilson trying to take as much of the curb as possible. And so close, but we see there, RDB is just able to pull away from Danny Wilson. Going into sector 3 now, both taking a bit too much of the curb. But I think it is game over for Danny Wilson. He has himself for 10th place. Even though he's so close, I think RDB will is just able to pull away from Danny Wilson. And notice there that both of them taking different lines into those last two corners. And yeah, I think it's game over for Danny Wilson. P10 for him, and it's 9th for RDB.
Great stuff there, and we just flip back to Gonk, who's I believe hasn't been lapped, which is great to see. It's Baku, one of the tricky tracks, the longer tracks, but yeah, fair play. Down the Gonk in 11th, and we had 3 non-finishers. A nice little tidy up, bit of an eventful end there. GT5 King. I hope it wasn't as boring as you expected, but
well, actually, it was a little bit. Well, it was. I think the middle section of the race was a little bit boring. But I think the last third of the race definitely was very fun to watch.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, I suppose I'll have to agree with that. It was entertaining at times, but it's at the end that was superb. And I mean, Stocky and Galzo there. That was a brilliant battle to be able to push the cars that much, not touching. And one little mistake, fraction too much, and yeah, unfortunately Stocky lost out from a chance. But yeah, as we can see, the drivers on the podium now, having their little moment.
Yep.
Slimbo Blue taking a victory, Hindle bringing it up in second with Fletcher Boy, New Boy I believe, it may have participated last time out, I'm unsure though, bringing it up in the podium position. And I just got to say, Roy Kimmy, debut race, bringing it up in 4th there, just missing out on the podium. But then the 2 Ferraris, we've got Konzo in 5th, Calzo in 6th. I believe they would be pretty happy with that, and the recovery they got there and the points for the team. Then in 7th and 8th is the 2 Red Bull drivers, with Stocky in 7th, Will 1, Win 1 in 8th. RDB in 9th, the admins pick rookie Sauber there. Great little job and a fantastic battle with the man in 10th, Danny Railton in the Williams. I'm sure Danny won't be happy, but may have learned a lesson from there with the drag down the straights. Then moving on,
I think.
Go on.
Sorry. Yeah. I'll let you continue. Sorry.
No worries then. Gonk in 11th in the other Williams with the DNFs of the Haas of Farfba, the McLaren of I honestly can't remember, and Valdemar are the DNF. So yeah, nice little race there. But yeah, what were you going to ask there, GT?
Just want to say fair play to Danny Wilson. Even though he did have the disadvantage of higher aero, he did manage to keep the gap to him and RDB as close as possible and taking the first and second sector. But yeah, it was just so unfortunate that he did not have the straight line speed that RDB had to close the gap in the main straight. Just wanted to point out that Hindle did message me saying that he won't be joining the post-race chat.
Okay, no worries there.
And I'm trying to think of questions now.
Apologies there, guys. Sorry, GT5 King. I just had to invite the drivers in there. I was just making sure they can get in. I believe we've got Slimbo Dude with us, who's probably absolutely over the moon, but we'll get to you shortly, fella. Yeah, as GT5 King said, Hindle won't be joining us, which is fine. We will ask to see if we can get his thoughts and do that in the write-up, which will be out tomorrow evening from the World Championship and the World Series itself. But we will wait to see if we hear from Fletcher Boy and see if he joins us. But GT5 King, we didn't see a lot of him, but would you like to start with Slimbo?
Yeah, so Slimbo, congratulations on your win tonight. Unfortunately, it was quite a quiet time for you, quite a cruise to the finish for you, wasn't it? Pretty much from the start.
Yeah, just a bit. Like, I was on edge a bit trying to manage the gap to Hindle, but other than that, it was fairly quiet.
Cool. I think the only battle you had was supposed to be Stocky at the start, but we believe that he did jump start.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit odd for him to go into the pits in lap 4. I thought it was strategy, but yeah, for him to not come back was a bit odd.
Okay, over to you, Dave.
Yeah, no worries. We may not have Fletcher Boy join us. I'm just seeing if we can get his thoughts, or if he does pop in and join us. We'll find out shortly. But yeah, Slimbo dude, we completely honest. For the first 5, 6, 7 laps of the race, we were focused on the front 5, and then you just seemed to disperse, and you seemed to put the hammer down and went, woof. See you later, Hindle. I'm putting my foot down here, so which is good to see. You weren't actually helping him, like championship wise and that. It was cracking little stuff from yourself. Faultless drive, I must admit, from what we've seen from the times. But did everything go to plan in qualifying? And first thing I've got to ask about the race, after you explain about your qualifying, is what did you think at Stocky's start at the time?
Well, starting with qualifying, like, yeah, qualifying, I couldn't have pulled much out from the car. Like, I was pushing it pretty hard. I could have gained like a tenth or two, but not too much more. As for the race, I was just trying to maintain the gap to Hindle, and as you said, I put the hammer down and managed to gap to him. And as to Stocky's start, I thought it was a pretty blitzing one. I thought he got it right. It didn't seem like a jump start off the grid, but then, yeah, it was just a surprise to see him coming from third to first in the first few corners.
Yeah, I must admit, the point of view we got with the broadcast was it looked like it was spot on, lights out, Stocky had gone, everyone had just missed their moment. And then GT5 King fed the information he had a drive through. So that kind of blew out that moment for Stocky, but it was a cracking little race throughout. Were you teasing Hindle at any times, or was that literally you going flat out around Baku and giving it everything to try and put some stamp on the championship throughout this season?
I wasn't teasing him per se, but I was pushing when he started to catch. But other than that, I was just trying to manage my race, just try not to put it in the walls, because it's very easy to do here. But when Hindle started to catch, I knew I had to pull something out, so I just pushed a bit harder, pulled out the gap to about 4 seconds and left it.
No, it's fair play to you. If you do watch broadcast back, you'll be a bit disappointed we didn't see much of your drive, but we do mention what a cracking job you're doing throughout, because we did notice, as we said, with the gaps, and I said about you putting the hammer down. Fair play to you. Congratulations on your victory. 2 seconds, Slimbo. I'm just going to read something out from Fletcher Boy. He cannot make the podium, but he's given me some thoughts. And he's put, by myself most of the race, had no force feedback for the whole race, so couldn't push to catch the guys in front. Due to the first stint on a broken wing, well done guys in the front. So that's the thoughts from Fletcher Boy in his first, I believe it's his first race with us at front row, so he's done a cracking job to get a podium. But moving back to you, Slimbo, before we close up the show, what's your thoughts on Austria now, Silverstone coming up? Can you maintain this pace and sort of throw a spanner in up at the front end of the World Series?
Well, I hope so. I wasn't confident going into this race, but last minute setup changes seems to work like a charm. Austria and Britain I'm more confident with, so I'm expecting a pace jump for them, but it'll be interesting to see where everyone else lies, and hopefully I can compete at the front.
Well, it's good stuff there. Hopefully we'll see you back up here. But yeah, again, congratulations on your win. It was a dominating performance by yourself from what we've seen with the timings. A few miss-ups at the back. It could have been a different race if qualifying went to everybody, but you took advantage, and the guys at the front, you had the edge on every single one of them. So congratulations. I believe this is your first win for the World Series, isn't it?
Yeah, my first win.
No, so fair play to you, well done. It's nice to know we've got another man on grid that can take the fight to the likes of Konzo, Calzo and Hindle up at the front. Valdemar, who crashed out as well, so it'd be interesting to see how you progress. Before I move on to closing up, GT5 King, is there anything else you'd like to ask, or...?
Just one more question. Have you thought of probably might be a little bit too early, but probably considering moving upwards to the World Championship next season at least?
It's hard to say. I would like to, but like obviously with that section being no assists, I still need I've always been keen on removing my racing line, but I just, I just need to get round to it, and if I can get it and nail it, then I will think about it.
Cool. And I think that's like everyone that I hear from World Championship will series to say that's quite. For me, it's not been that difficult. I've literally taught myself how to go drive non-assist from the start. So, but yeah, I think definitely if you do practice it, then I feel like you might be within a chance to challenge the top guys in the World Championship at some point.
Thanks.
Well, there's something that may spice things up later on down the line. Slimbo Dude may make a transfer at some point. We never know, but we're taking nothing away what he does at the World Series. So, is there anything else, GT5 King, or are you happy for me to wrap up the show?
No, I'm happy. Just congratulations, somebody, for yet another good performance.
Thanks.
Yep, that's great stuff there. So we've heard from Slimbo Dude. Congratulations on his win. It was a fantastic race and a very dominant performance. We haven't heard from Hindle, but well done on his second place. He's done a cracking drive, and Mercedes 1-2 is only going to help him for the constructors there. So, and we heard the thoughts from Fletcher Boy in a brief comment. But congratulations to him. Great little performance there and his first podium at Front Row Racing in the World Series. So next time out for us though will be the World Championship 2 weeks time. Well, a week's time Wednesday, or 2 weeks yesterday, where we will be in Austria. We will be back to the broadcasting with everything else going well. It's just a shame we missed yesterday's race because it's kind of the same as tonight's. So good stuff there from both sets of drivers. And again with the World Series, that will be 2 weeks today. These guys will be flying around the track of Austria, and we will see what happens there. But yeah, I have been coming to get you 85 with Front Row Racing, joined by GT5 King. Thank you very much for coming along, giving it a go, and having some fun. It's been eventful.
Yep. Thank you very much.
No worries, but again, congratulations to all drivers, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Good night, God bless.